Without doubt, the most iconic structure in York is York Minster, one of the largest Gothic cathedrals in Northern Europe. It's the seat of the Archbishop of York, the second-ranked religious official of the Church of England. The architecture is English Gothic, and the cost of building it less than that of a Hollywood movie, though unlike Hollywood movies, worth every penny. 800 years and still going strong. We paid the very reasonable £10 admission fee and began to appreciate this magnificent cathedral. There's no charge for people simply wanting to take a look inside the south transept or join a service, and services are held every day, and everyone is welcome to join. For music lovers, the choir can be heard in many of these services. First impression is to gaze in awe at the grandeur of this place, acknowledged by many as the finest in the land. This is the wide, ornately decorated Gothic nave, where the congregation sits. The mind boggles to consider it was started in 1220 and not finished until 1472, 250 years in the making. Clearly the artisans wishing to create a monument to the glory of God. This is the vault of the central tower. This is the choir, with the Lady Chapel in the distance. This shot looking back down the whole length of the Minster. York has a saint, William, and this window depicts events from his life. It's certainly an enjoyable place to visit. I love history and enjoy walking through historic places. And here is not a 1,000-year-old ruin, but a magnificent monument filled with intricate, elaborate works of art, often with no signature attached, their creators unknown, but appreciated hundreds of years after their demise. Not to be missed is the £5 climb to the top of the central tower that affords what nowadays we call drone-like views over the city, known also as the Chocolate City for about 100 years, with such famous brands as Roundtree, Terry's and Macintosh. 6 million Kit Kats are produced in York every day, over 1 billion every year. England's most famous highwayman, Dick Turpin, was executed here. Another notorious villain, Guy Fawkes, was born and educated in York, and he still gets burned at the stake every year. And from this viewpoint, the city walls are clearly seen. York has more miles of intact wall than any other city in England, and the original wall was built in 71 AD. Now it's time to plunge into historic York and the famous Shambles, a very old street with overhanging medieval buildings, some dating back as far as the 14th century. It was once known as the Great Flesh Shambles, so named from the Anglo-Saxon flesh hammels, referring to the shelves used by butchers to display their meat. Many Yorkshire towns still have a Shambles street. In 1872, there were still 25 butchers' shops here, but none remains. Instead, sweet shops, coffee shops, tea rooms, and tourist shops dominate. A Yorkshireman will tell you that York is full of snickets and ginnels, which are narrow alleys between buildings that have been built too close together for comfort. Many buildings overhang as much as 5 feet. Being in York always reminds me of Dickens' novels. It's said that the character Mr. Micawber of David Copperfield fame is based on a certain Richard Chicken, whom Dickens met in York around the time he wrote the novel. Apparently, Chicken died in the York poorhouse. He should have emigrated to Australia. On to the market again. As far back as the 16th century, there's been a market here. The Thursday market, one of the first. On market day, country people brought their goods into the city and had to pay a toll to be able to sell chickens, eggs, butter, cheese, as well as fruit and vegetables inside the city. And even in those days, trade was carefully regulated. Trading offences like short-changing customers, inflating prices, and doctoring scales were swiftly punished with a spell in the pillory that stood in the market. York is really a fun place to visit. Plenty of things to do, to see, shopping, eating, and relaxing. Every now and then it's coffee time or snack time, and we get to people watch. And soak in the atmosphere of this fascinating place. Explore a little. But there's one really great attraction here that nobody should miss. And we're catching a train to visit. And where do trains go? Well, I've travelled down the road in a real train in Darjeeling in India, but trains generally go to the railway station. And we're on our way to the National Railway Museum. That is a fantastic place to visit. Trains of days gone by in an authentic situation. And guess what? Admission is free. There are over 100 locomotives and over 300 rolling stock. Even Stephenson's rocket from 1829, and many other steam trains from days gone by, and a place to have a drink and sandwich. Everything here restored to pristine condition, and as we walk around, it is certainly going back in time. This is Gladstone, named after the Prime Minister. The sad thing for me is that I vividly remember those days when I was whisked off to the seaside by a steam train. Things have certainly changed. I'm expecting Harry Potter to come walking down the platform. This is the Royal Train. The museum was created in its present site, the former York North Locomotive Depot, in 1975. It has over 750,000 visitors annually, and every now and then they put on special events. Today, 3717, the city of Truro, is giving a demonstration of steam power. Shortly after this demonstration in June 2012, it had to be retired from active service due to boiler trouble. Many of the exhibits were also in active service in times past, and I'm sure bring back memories for those of us old enough to remember. It has to be said that the museum has done a great job of restoring and keeping exhibits in tip-top shape. It was a super enjoyable visit, and I recommend it wholeheartedly.